Live.
So, Kaylin and Micah, the illustrious team from Austin, Texas. You guys have been really impressing me. I've been watching Facebook and seeing all these one in-presence experience after another. And it's happening, pretty much without my encouragement or support or anything. You guys are just handling it.
Well, it's mostly Micah. I'm doing it intermittently, but he's really to be acknowledged highly.
All right. Well, let's acknowledge Micah. So what's the deal, Micah? What's keeping your motor running?
God, there's no reason not to keep going. I keep learning every time, and it feels fresh, and it feels like a privilege still. It's not onerous. It's a joy, and I'm very happy to keep offering it to the community. I'm inspired by the influx of authentic relators. Yeah.
You mean that group that you're a part of?
Uh-huh. Yeah, I've been getting a lot of them interested and getting some cross-pollination.
Excellent. So they're starting to see how the two things are sort of work together?
Yeah, well, more people are experiencing it firsthand. And, every time I make my little announcement at the end of games night, in presence, the chorus of people around the circle who say, "Oh, it's amazing, you have to go, life-changing," is getting louder and louder.
Nice. Do those people making the chorus, do they show up also?
Yeah, frequently.
Okay, good, good. So it's not just a hollow chorus.
Right.
Yeah.
Nothing worse than a hollow chorus.
God, it's so true, man. I hate it. Kaylin?
Yes.
So tell me, what's going on with you?
You mean in presence-wise?
Yeah.
It's been kind of similar to Micah in a way, aside from I haven't been going to the games thing, so I think when I facilitate an evening, there's not quite as many people that come sometimes, but the groups are frequently they're just really sweet experiences, it's good. So, and I'm getting more comfortable with it, and I'm looking forward to this because a couple of times when I've done it, it's been all people. Oh, here's Rolando. Hi, Rolando. I'm getting more it was all people that have done it quite a bit, like Roy and Michael and Micah or something, I forget. So I'm looking forward to having some other options, especially for situations like that, so that go to a little different level maybe or something with those people especially.
So to have more beginner people coming, is that what you're saying?
No, I'm saying, well, I'd like that too, but I'm saying that I'm looking forward to having some alternative practices for the people especially that have been doing this for quite some time and are really familiar with it. So to give them a little more diversity and possible options to go a little deeper than they may have gone in the ones that we do all the time.
Yeah, good. Nice. So what I want to say about that is that number one, and there is Rolando.
Hey everyone,
Hey, Rolando.
Kaylin, Micah, I think, right?
Yes.
Hello, Rolando.
Hi.
This Rolando, Micah, Rolando is Mr. Authenticity, man.
Ah,
He's Mr.
good.
Community, he's Mr. Authenticity, and he's taken the lead in the facilitation in San Francisco, much like you've taken the lead in Austin.
Awesome.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's going. And so you guys are really, you're making me proud, both all of you. And you know, to get to hear from Mitt and to hear from Brian how these sessions in San Francisco are huge parts of their lives.
Mm-hmm.
And that it wouldn't be there without you, Rolando. Without you basically keeping the flame alive.
Uh-huh.
It's just that in a city like San Francisco, it's like Austin on steroids in terms of things to do. There's so much going on there that it's just really hard to catch people and to keep them focused in one direction. It's a very ADD community.
We
Wow.
need a guy like me who's from Walnut Creek, the outskirts of San Francisco. There's not much to do, so.
You know what? It's bullshit, and you know it because you're a BART train ride away from the city. You go there often. You do all kinds of things, but you're keeping the flame lit for this.
Mm-hmm.
And by the way, as a facilitator, right now you need to learn how to model something, and that is when you get positive feedback, just say thank you.
Right.
So if I'm giving you some nice feedback here, I'm juicing you up, man. I'm buttering you up. Fucking turn your back around so I can butter the back, you know? Yeah, come on.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Anyway, so I'm really, like, this is actually happening. And, you know, you do, and I wish Luciana was here. She's not because it's so late in Brazil. But she's doing the trainings in Belo Horizonte. And so it's happening, you know?
So are you all rotating in San Francisco, Rolando, or are you doing all of it?
I started letting Mitt facilitate last week.
Uh-huh.
So for the most part, yeah. I was
Uh-huh.
facilitating them. And then kind of like letting them facilitate if they wanted to.
Cool.
Yeah, way to go.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, so Kaylin, you asked for practices. You asked for practices that can help deepen the experience for the people who are more advanced students. So give them something that's edgy for themselves. And here's what I want to say about that first and foremost. And that is, actually, you don't need these practices for that. You don't need variety to keep people in presence. It's an immature soul that needs new stimulation to show up. Okay? What you got, actually, the first exercise, the be with, the 1 minute be with, you could do that for 3 hours. You don't need anything else. You should try that. Like, that could be it. You know what? That's it. I'm going to get off this call now. That's
Bye.
That's it. Alan, grasshopper. Really? No, seriously, really. It's about presence. And presence means that no matter what happens, you witness. It's so you can't expect new realization. You can't expect fireworks. You can't expect love and joy and bliss. You can't expect anything. Whatever you're expecting is not presence. So presence is that which witnesses regardless of what's being expected or not. So what you have now is enough. Okay? You are enough. And actually it comes down to you and having confidence in yourself that you are enough. And being in presence, like getting in front of a mirror before a session and just say, acknowledge, I'm enough. This is enough. And let that be enough. So yes, we're going to give you extra practices because it's fun and why not? But if it's to keep so-called advanced people engaged, then they're not advanced. Then they should keep doing the basic thing until finally they're just totally happy doing the basic thing, then throw something else at them. So you want an advanced practice? Do the same thing over and over. That's the advanced practice. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you variety for the beginners who are monkey-minded and they need new things, otherwise they run and think, oh, it's the same thing every time. How many times have you heard that, Micah? Well, excuse me, are you going to do the same exercises again?
Yeah, I've definitely heard it, and I say, yeah.
You can say, no, we're going to do the same exercises again.
I say, same exercise, different you.
Exactly. Everything is different. That's the beauty of it. I've been doing it now for 15 years, and I've never been bored. I mean, the only reason why I'm not doing it right now is because I've got this other little project to make a bundle of cash, which is fine, you know. But I will get back to this because this is where the freshness is. This is the real baby. I mean, this other real money is also a baby. Don't get me wrong. I love real money. I'm having a lot of fun with it. But my heart and soul is in presence, okay? And it's the same practices. It hasn't really changed. But I've changed. And with my changes, it's changed. So enough of that. I hope that helps in terms of orientation, that this is not for advanced students and to keep them intrigued. If they've lost their intrigue, they're not advanced students. An advanced student's happy in presence with whatever happens. That's it. I've said enough. Does anybody have anything else they want to add to that or subtract from that or multiply that? Push back against it? Say, sorry, don't agree. Okay, very good. So let's continue. So what I've been thinking about here is we meeting once a month. We can have these calls once a month, and each session, this is the first of these, there will be supplemental practices. And each supplemental practice will cover one aspect of what we can call the self-coaching method. So it's in-presence practices, and it goes into self-coaching. But it includes the in-presence. So you have Mitt was looking for the soft focus practices. We'll be doing some of those. We'll have communication practices, presence in communication. We can do inquiry practices such as nodding and breath practices, body awareness practices. We can have inquiry practices like sort of empowering questions and things of that nature. And today, the one I want to go further on is noting. Actually, yeah, I want to actually do something where there are what we can do is actually 4 different varieties of noting. It comes in 4 flavors. So the first flavor you already have, and that's basically 2 people facing each other, right? And basically being with, and one's the witness, one's the noter, and then the noter basically, if there's a thought that occurs to him, he gives it a 1-word name, and then he waits for the next thought, and then when it comes up, 1-word name, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that practice is great. And what I would like for this video is, Micah, would you introduce that practice for us? And we're going to do it for 3 minutes by ourselves. So,
Okay.
so there is no witness. There is no, there is no. But just introduce the practice without witness, without the witness piece.
Okay.
And get close to the microphone.
This close enough?
Yeah, that's too close.
Okay. So this exercise is called noting. And in noting, all that you need to do is become aware of your thought process, your thoughts as they arise spontaneously. And
Before you describe what the practice looks like, always introduce the benefits first.
okay. Can do. So this practice is called noting, and this is the first step in Alan Steinborn's amazing self-coaching method. And one thing that I have noticed from noting regularly in my life is that my thought process has tended to slow down, and the emphasis placed on diving into the drama of my thoughts has declined. A thought arises, I see it or I don't see it, and it just goes on its way, instead of me getting all tied up in the thought process. So you may experience something like that. There are many other benefits, such as just becoming comfortable with yourself. Many, many more. But how noting works is that you become aware of your thoughts as they arise spontaneously. And having seen a thought or heard a thought, all you have to do is attach a 1-word name to the thought. So describe it as best as you can in that moment, and then wait for the next thought. And you'll be describing your thoughts out loud to your partner if you have a partner, and in this case, to yourself.
Are there any questions?
Are there any questions?
So then I'm going to set up the time. And 3 minutes, let's do noting. All right, let's begin. So close your eyes and just note out loud as the thoughts occur to you.
Nervousness.
Questioning.
Desire for
Observing,
Noting.
assessing,
Trying.
knowing,
appreciation.
Questioning.
learning,
Looking.
observing,
No.
assessing,
Worried, planning,
Fear.
questioning,
Resistance.
comparing,
and resistance,
admiration, appreciation,
disappointment,
respect,
Anger.
Amusement.
Fear.
Tax.
Amusement.
Amusement.
Wonder. Concern.
Comparing.
Awareness.
Overwhelm.
Comparing.
Frustration.
Observing.
Lie.
Questioning. Concern.
Angry. Amazement.
Admiring.
Reaction.
Observing. Noting. Processing. Contemplating.
Relax.
Spaced out.
Letting go.
Appreciate.
Relax.
Feeling.
Feeling more.
Centering.
Gratitude. Rest.
Planning. Restless. Resisting.
Planning. Finance. Questioning.
Disbelief.
Strategy.
Concern.
Remembering.
Release.
Yes.
Anticipate.
Overwhelmed.
Feeling.
Breathing.
Fatigue.
Centering.
Twitching. Controlling.
Lactating.
Resistance.
Fear.
Pain. Listening.
Trying.
Letting go.
Frustration. Annoying. Anger.
Curious.
Wondering.
Reflecting.
Disappointment.
Question.
Rebellion.
Disappointment.
Wonder. Appreciation. All right. Beautiful. Okay, so just take a deep breath and open your eyes. That's great. So did you guys notice a shift of some nature? You hear that?
My computer?
Wow.
Is that what you hear?
I hear some like a train.
Airfield.
Jet engine, yeah.
All done.
Gone. Wow, it's your computer, Rolando.
Yeah. Alright, maybe I'll be on mute.
Yeah, unless you need to speak. Perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's better. Rolando, poor guy. Half of our work in life is to get him to unmute himself. Here it is. He's got to put on the mute just so that we can have a call. That's irony.
Things like progress.
It's progress, exactly. It's flexibility. No, so what I've noticed in that little 3 minutes is that I recognized a few things personally. One is, holy shit, it's been a while and I should be doing this practice regularly. And amazing what the difference 3 minutes makes. Like just noting with friends.
Yeah.
Like unbelievable. Like it's like roto-rooter for the brain. Like I'm totally clear now.
I think that's an interesting possible alternative, and maybe that's one of the 4 flavors you were talking about, but rather than working in partners, noting as a group where you just all speak out loud at the same time.
We're going to do that. We're going to do a few different varieties.
Mm-hmm.
So that's part of one. So let's try this. Okay. So this next practice is going to be called noting. And noting is a very simple practice, but a very profound practice. In a very short period of life, of time, this practice can radically shift your awareness and change your life. And it works in any situation, no matter what you're going through mentally or emotionally. So I encourage you to listen very carefully and learn what I'm about to teach you, because this can help you for the rest of your life. So what we're going to do is each one of us is going to close our eyes. So why don't you close your eyes right now and listen to me give the instructions. So you too, Rolando, close your eyes. Very good. So what we're about to do is noting. And in noting, all you do is you simply sit back, just let yourself watch your mind. Watch your feelings and thoughts. When you notice a thought, I want you to silently say that thought to yourself. Give that thought a one-word name. So if you notice that you're planning on something for tomorrow, then silently say to yourself, planning. And if you're angry about something, then silently say anger. So just do this with your eyes closed. And we're going to do this for 3 minutes. Are there any questions before we begin? Okay, Micah, do you got it? Great.
Yep.
Rolando, you got it? Give me a thumbs up if yes. Excellent. Okay, let's begin. 3 minutes. All right, take a deep breath, and when you're ready, open your eyes. Any comments or feedback about that practice?
I really liked that. That was kind of in between the 4% and regular noting for me in terms of my own experience. And I also experienced something that I've never experienced before. I don't know what, I liked it. I wonder if it's beneficial or if it's something you played with before, but I found my mind getting on one topic or one person, like either whether it started with concern or whatever, or love and appreciation, whatever the thing was, and thinking about them and just the following the mind through the whole why I was thinking about them or whatever, and the wave I was riding between the experience of that, and it seemed like even if it started out with things like concern or stuff like that, it ended up in love and appreciation, you know. And I, anyway, I liked that. It felt freeing. It felt freeing, you know, like healing, kind of, you know.
Yeah, there was something very deep about it. There was something profound. I want to hear from the others before I share my experience.
I noticed I became aware of the getting distracted in the thought process. And then seeing the distraction and bringing my focus back to the flow of the thought as differentiated from getting absorbed in the story of the thought. And I wondered, it occurred to me that that's controlling my thought. It's control, resistance, struggle. All of those thoughts, those feelings came up, and it brought into question my relationship with my thought process in the noting, and how much of a controlling relationship I have, whether it's an actual controlling of my thought process or simply like returning my attention to observing the natural upwelling of thought bubbles.
You know what? I'll address that once I hear from Rolando. That's really very, very interesting point you're bringing up. And I have something to say about that. But first, I want to hear from Rolando. All right. Here, Rolando.
Yeah, sorry about the noise. I live next to an airport.
It's funny, man. I like it.
For me, I noticed that it was like really heady at first, like planning and stuff, and then kind of one of my tendencies is to pay attention to what's up with my body, just what I feel there, and that's kind of where what I started thinking about.
How about the quality of your experience? Did that shift from the beginning to the end?
It was kind of went from pretty chaotic to mellow.
All right, and that's good. You can put yourself on mute now. And And with that, I'm gonna help. That's kind of an answer to your question, Micah, about the whole point of controlling the mind, like the process of control. Make no mistake, we are learning how to control our minds. Okay? In the sense that there are thoughts that occur to you, and there are thoughts you choose. And the thoughts that occur to you, you have no real power over those thoughts. They happen by themselves. You can be on the lip of infinite immortality and bliss and have a premenstrual syndrome. Okay? Or stub your toe. Or be very unhappy with the particular shade of green that shrub is right next to the beach. Or God knows. I mean, we are so inventive in creating problems out of no problems. It could be anything, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this is the situation of the mind. And the mind is not yours, okay? The mind is ours. It's everybody's. And it occurs to you as equally as me. It's like an internet, and we're all tied into this thing. So your thoughts are because of me, and my thoughts are because of you. And that little fucker that was walking on the earth 40 million years ago. You know, I mean, it's like, there's too much. It's too sophisticated and complex to even begin to try to control that.
Mm.
And yet, we are given the ability to create that same thing. So we're able to create a thought. And creating a thought is a controlled process. So it takes us from being a passive victim of something we have no control over and saying, wait a minute, let me try my hand at this thinking game. And let's see the quality I can bring to the game of thinking. And so there are a lot of schools of thought on how to do that. And in history, there was, about belief and creating beliefs and repeating beliefs. And if you repeat a belief long enough, it will start to feel as though it's true. And they call that religion. And then in the, recently there's all these various positive thinking sort of groups that we know so much about, where you just basically always try to orient yourself to the bright side, and supposedly your life becomes bright. And the particular approach of the in-presence experience and the self-coaching method is, it takes a different approach. The approach, what we're doing to create thoughts, is we lean in with awareness and with noting. So we start from a position of just seeing and being with. And it's very fast. It's instant. Being with is instant. In any one moment, there's a thought, but at that same moment, there's the witness of that thought. They happen together. And so what we're doing is we're putting more of the emphasis on the noticing of it than the thought itself. So I don't know who was talking about being immersed. I think it was you, wasn't it? Being immersed in the thought and being not immersed in it. Letting it slide. And that ability is actually the ability to play that spectrum from the focusing on the thought and making the thought primary, or focusing on the noticing of the thought and making that primary. The very next moment, and it's not the next moment. That's actually fallacious. There's no real way to say this in language. You know, it's not linear. It's not this and then this and then this and let me draw a little flowchart for you. It doesn't work that way. It's happening at the same moment, simultaneously. You're watching at the same time, and you're asking, what am I going to name this thought? How am I going to name this thing? And oftentimes, you know, that's a willing practice. That's not being immersed in a thought. That's immersing ourselves in a thought process. And so it's a question. What are we going to name this thing? And the process of giving it a name, good, bad, or neutral, and noticing is like it gives you two tools, and they're all the tools you need. Three tools. One is the noticing, so it's the vigilance. Two is the question, what am I going to name this thing? And three, it's the creative act of giving it a name, of saying that this is a plan, this is anger, this is stupid, this is shame, this is whatever. It doesn't actually matter what word you give it. It's the muscle of giving the word that is its own power. So that's the gift of noting. It's actually taking something that you're a passive, almost helpless party to, and giving you tools to play with it and use it and make it sort of work for your benefit. Happens by itself. So that, like Rolando, what happened to him at the beginning is very heady, the mind, loud, and then at the end, oh, it's mellow. And that's a quality of thinking that shifts as a result of noticing, asking the question, and giving the name. Those three things. And if you ever want to explain how noting works to somebody, you basically can use those three things. You're noticing, you're asking the question, what do I give this name? Now, of course, what do I give this name is also a thought. In noting, we're not asking people to be outside of thought, as if somehow they're outside. They're not. What's outside is not thinking. It's just being. So we're basically quieting the mind and shifting the focus and giving some creative power to the moment. That's all it is. But that's all it needs to be. I mean, is that helpful to you? Did that help to answer your question at all?
Yeah. Yeah, it is. There is an aspect of control, just as there is an aspect of strengthening, an aspect of learning to focus on one point by returning your focus again and again.
Except that the point is whatever shows up.
Right.
So there's also an allowance. So there's a control, but it's not a rigid control. It's a very, very gentle control. And really that's an important function of presence, okay? To me, presence is about coming to the point, as you say, the point of focus now, and then relaxing, letting it be. And then you disperse again, then the thoughts start bubbling up and you're lost. And then it's time to come back again. And then you let it be.
Cool. Thanks for addressing that.
Yeah, yeah, it's great. And I know I'm sorry for lecturing and but it's really the point of this practice actually. So it's really good that you brought it up, and it's a senior practitioner question. It's someone that's practiced it with earnestness for a while, and has now you're now basically coming up with very clear questions, which bring clear answers. So I'm grateful, and everybody who listens to this should be grateful. Because it's the kind of conversation they don't get to hear all that often. Okay, I'm not going to go in that. I could start bullshitting, but I won't. Let me rephrase that. I could start bullshitting even more, but I won't. Okay, so now you've done this exercise, the noting, in silence. So now we're going to do the next stage. So the first exercise was noting out loud, right? And then we did the same practice, but in silence out loud. So inside the theater of our inner mind, without vocalizing it out loud, just hearing it inside of our own mind, right? So now what we're going to do is we're going to do what we call the 4% noting. So the very act of creating a name takes your attention off of, let's say, what we call 4% of the thoughts. And it's probably more than that. But let's just say it's 4%. We actually, if you really want to know the truth, I hired a research staff at a lab at Stanford University, and we've determined that it's actually exactly 4%. Okay, it really is. I mean, scientists proved it. The American Medical Association approves. It's 4%. Okay, that's what it is. So 4%. This is the 4% noting practice. Okay, and what it is that we're going to take away the naming process. So you don't have to ask, what am I going to name this? And you don't have to come up with a special name for the thought. Instead, the name for every thought you notice is noticing. So actually, maybe what we could call this is, instead of call it the 4%, which is actually an inside joke for those of us who were doing the facilitator training, let's call this practice noticing. So we're going to graduate noting, and we're going to move to noticing.
Maybe it's we can come up with another name as well, because there's another practice in the authentic relating games called noticing. So
I don't care about that. It is.
No. Just another name for me in relating with the other group.
Oh, call it the 4%. 4%.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can do.
Yeah, I guarantee they haven't come up with the 4% yet. I'm just a minute. I got to call my lawyer and make sure I trademark that one. 4%. I own it. It's done. It's mine. Okay. So the 4%, otherwise known in San Francisco as noticing.
I like it, Rolando.
Shout out to Ed Hines. Yeah, Ed Hines, he came up with the 4%. Well, he didn't. He came up with the question, and then we were thinking about it, and then was like, well, let's try this. And we tried it, and it was amazing. And so what it is basically this. You sit in silence, just like last time, and watch your thoughts. Only this time, instead of naming your thought, the second you notice a thought or a feeling, okay? It can also be a feeling or a sound. Just silently say to yourself, noticing. So every time a thought, feeling, sound, smell, taste, any kind of anything makes itself prominently known in your awareness, say noticing to yourself. Is it clear? Okay, excellent. So we're going to do this for 3 minutes.
Are we doing this out loud, Alan?
No, silently.
Okay.
Okay, are there any other questions? Okay, great. 3 minutes, begin.
Noticing.
No, silently. All right. So let's give this practice one-word feedback, starting with Kaylin. Could be positive or negative, whatever.
Peaceful.
Micah?
Valuable.
Rolanda?
Rewarding.
Empowering. All right. That's an hour. That's all I want. That's all the time I wanted to take out of your schedule.
Can I ask a question, Alan?
I bet you can.
I I have a clarification for noting. Um, I notice that sometimes there's a tendency for usually certain people to have a habit of every single thing or a lot of what they say in their noting is about their physical surroundings. It's not so much about their thoughts and emotions and stuff. It's, hot, hungry, tired, you know, light, wall, tree. It's just physical observation stuff.
Okay, here. You want the solution?
Yes.
Make it a verb.
Mhm. Mhm.
Planning, noticing, judging, evaluating, questioning, fearing.
Okay. And do you do that? I guess it's probably, is it always advisable to say that in the instructions as you're going? Or if you.
Absolutely, absolutely. Say it in the instructions, and unless the exercise is going way out of kilter, don't ever correct somebody in noting.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. That's why you really need to practice the introduction and get really good at introducing noting. It's one of the exercises where you don't want to shift people around too much, because it works on it works the more time of uninterrupted practice, the better it works.
Okay. All right.
Would you mind, before we end, introducing noting again with the specification of making it a verb?
Mm-hmm. I'll do that. The next practice we will do is what's called the noting exercise. And noting is the first practice in the self-coaching method. It's the first practice you do when you want to learn how to coach yourself. This profound practice will help you to slow down your mind and create thoughts that serve you rather than be run over by thoughts that don't serve you. It's a very simple practice. All you do is sit back and just watch your mind. Just watch your mind. And whenever you notice a thought, give it a one-word name. Word name, which is a verb. For example, let's say I'm sitting here and I'm worried that I forgot to turn the oven off. Then the word could be worrying. Or I'm excited about a concert I'm going to tomorrow. It could be anticipating. Or I'm thinking about this project that I have to work on and some aspect of it. It could be ruminating or planning or organizing or criticizing or judging. There's a million different verbs. Choose one. And if you can't choose one, the basic blanket verb which covers all thoughts is noticing. You're noticing the thought. You're noticing something going on in the environment. So if you can't come up with a name for the thought, just say to yourself, noticing, and then let it go. Are there any questions? How's that?
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, is that helpful?
Yeah, definitely. I've gone through phases in my introduction of noting, um, and it's helpful to check in once again.
Well, this video will be available for you, and you can listen back to it anytime. And actually all the different classes are like that. And if we're talking about some crap that you don't want to hear, you can just forward it until it gets to the juicy stuff.
Mm.
So that's really valuable. And there are meditations in there and things. They're really wonderful little videos. So I highly recommend, setting aside some time and doing that. And you can always ask me to get on a call with you and just hear you do an intro, and then I'll give you my thoughts.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Sure. So there's the next time we do a noting supplementary practice, I'll teach you guys below the line, above the line, beyond the line, which is a wonderful noting practice as well. But I feel like what we've covered right now is enough. Like you really, this is a lot. So what I want you to do, I want one of you, so let's see, which ones did we cover? We've got noting by yourself out loud together, right? We've got noting in silence, and then with your eyes closed. We've got noting, we've got the 4%, which is noticing. So what I would like is for you, Kaylin, to write instructions, like write a script for the instructions on the noting out loud with your eyes closed. Okay? And what I would like from you, Micah, is the noting in silence with your eyes closed. And if you choose to accept it, and I know you will, Rolando, I want you to do the 4%. So I want you guys to write scripts for this and email them to me. And we need them in the next few days, so for each of you, and the ones not on this call. And send me the text, and then I'll don't worry about them being perfect. Get them as perfect as you can, and I'll fix them. And then we'll create like perfect scripts, or as perfect as we can get, and then everybody will have it. Is that good? And by writing the script, you'll it's another way of learning this, so it's a good way of practicing. Is that okay? I mean, are you guys okay with that for homework? Yeah? Is anybody not okay with it? Please. What?
Where do you want to begin with the scripts? Do you want to have us begin with our next practice is and go into the benefits, or just the succinct?
You know what? Do the whole thing.
Okay.
Assume that you've just done the remind me. Okay, we got the one-on-one, and then it's noting, right?
Mm-hmm.
So assume that you just did the one-on-one.
Okay.
And then I'll but here's how I would facilitate this. If I were you, I would take away the circle with the 1 minute feedback. So something has to go. You can't get something without taking something away, I'm sorry to say. So like if you think about a training as like a mixed tape or something you're making, and if you do noting, what I would do is I would take the circle away with the 1 minute feedback, as juicy as it is, and then do a 5-minute turn after that. And in the 5-minute turn, I would do a different kind of feedback. Instead of doing the shower feedback, I would do essential positive feedback. In your presence, I feel blah, blah, blah. You know what I'll do? I'll tell you what, I'll be part of this practice. And what I'll do is I'll write an instruction for you guys on how to give the essential positive feedback. And so we all have homework. And I don't like the fact that I just gave myself homework, because if you guys saw my fucking list of homework, it's so fucking long. It's like unbelievable. It's like, what the hell am I doing with my life? That's what it is. And I've just added one more thing to my poor donkey's cart, and the donkey he's taking it with good humor anyway. So there it is. So we're all in this together, right? Okay, so that's the way I would do it. 1 minute be with, and then noting together, and then noting alone together out loud, and then noting in silence, and then noticing. Break, 5-minute, be with. And there's your evening. And I can tell you that 5-minute turn is going to be amazing for people. Very deep. Not so like yay and hi and all that. It's going to be a different kind of thing. Way more meditative. Way more earnest and serious and authentic. The noting is going to bring people to a space, and then they're going to be able to share it in that 5-minute turn. Is that cool?
Yes, on your on one of ours, either yours or whatever, I think it'd be good to list the thing you just said. You know how you were saying, do this one, then do this one, then do this one, then do this one?
I'll do that. I'll do that in the, yeah, I'll do it.
Okay.
I'll do that too.
Okay.
I could also do that list if you wanted on.
It's nothing. It's easy. It's nothing. It's, I'd like to do it.
Perfect.
Actually, let me get your text. So can I have them by the end of this week?
Yeah.
I mean, do you want to give this training on Monday?
Yeah.
And then you can get on Facebook and say, we've got a new training. It's going to be really great.
Mm-hmm.
And you can make it into an event and maybe see if you can get, I don't know, get people to come who are missing new things because they're so advanced.
I'll try, but those advanced people are hard to rope in.
I know they are. You know, they're just so busy. They have 2 cell phones. Just a minute. I'm really advanced. Let me see. Let me check that out. I don't know. Do we have the time for that? Oh, Kaylin.
Thank you very much for doing this, Alan.
I have a favor to ask the 2 of you. So this is my big project is kind of launching, and I need help. You guys can help me. You guys can go to the Real Money page and start liking articles. And you both liked Real Money, but you could go to the Real Money page and just like articles, like bunches of them. It creates more visibility. Facebook starts showing it to more people when you guys do that. And it saves me money. Then I don't have to pay them.
Okay.
Okay. I also invited a whole slew of people to like your like-a-thon or to join your like-a-thon or whatever it is.
Somebody did. You had a friend who joined. I wondered how the hell that happened. Well done.
Yeah. I invited a whole bunch of people.
But you know what? Start the like-a-thon. My mom right now is by far the leader of the like-a-thon, which is to be expected. Rolando, you're a distant second or third, man. Brian, who should have been on this call, is number 2. You're number 3. And then there's this African woman who I've never met who's number 4.
Huh.
Yeah, amazing who shows up to help. So fascinating. And then Chris. You know Chris. He's been doing it.
Really?
Yeah. Doom Buggy Chris.
Yeah.
Yeah. So please do that. And if you can get anybody like Roy. Roy should be doing it. Because Roy and I have like 120 mutual friends. And that'll help things. That bastard. Get him on it. Okay, that's enough of me. It's been beautiful, you guys. I am so grateful to have you guys in my life and to be doing this together with you. Like, what a blessing. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, kiddies. I'm going to stop the broadcast.